Now first point related to the chapter current electricity is nothing but Kirchhoff's law. Now for what purpose we can use Kirchhoff's law? Kirchhoff's laws are useful to determine the electric current, potential difference and resistance in complicated electrical circuit. That means when we are going through the electrical circuit which is very complicated, and if we have to determine the resistance, electric current and potential difference, then definitely we should use Kirchhoff's law. Now, scientist Kirchhoff introduced two laws for the determination of electric current and electric potential. Now, first law, it is known as Kirchhoff's current law. This law is also known as junction law. Kirchhoff's first law, it is also known as Kirchhoff's current law. Now this law is useful to determine the current flowing through the closed electric circuit. That means we can find the value of current which is flowing through the circuit, closed electric circuit. Now first we will see the statement of this law. Now this law states that in closed electric circuit at any junction point, the total algebraic sum of electric current is always equal to 0. What it means? Suppose, let us consider one junction point in closed electric circuit. Suppose here point O, it is a junction point in closed electric circuit. Now some currents are moving towards the junction, some currents are moving away from the junction. Now suppose here I1, here I2, here I3, here I4 and this one I4. That means at junction 5 currents are crossing each other. Now according to Kirchhoff's current law, summation of I is equal to 0. What it means? According to Kirchhoff's current law, according to Kirchhoff's first law, according to Kirchhoff's junction law, we can say that the algebraic sum of electric current at any junction point in closed electric circuit is always equal to 0. That means summation I is equal to 0. For that, scientist Kirchhoff made two sign conventions. Now, first one, the currents which are moving toward the junction or the currents which are approaching the junctions, these currents are treated as positive currents. What I am telling? Which currents are positive currents? The currents which are moving toward the junction. Now here in this figure, current I1, current I2, current I3, these currents are approaching the junction or these are moving toward the junction. These currents are treated as positive currents, and the currents which are leaving the junction or which are moving away from the junction, these currents are treated as negative currents. Now from that, again we can say that the total current approaching the junction is always equal to the total current leaving the junction. How we can say that? Now we know that these are the positive current, therefore I1 plus I2 plus I3. These are negative currents, that means minus I4 minus I5 is equal to 0. According to Kirchhoff's law. Now if we rearrange the terms, what we can write? I1 plus I2 plus I3 is equal to I4 plus I5. Now what this state? This is nothing but the total current which are moving towards the junction. This is nothing but the total current which is moving away from the junction. Now from that we can state that according to Kirchhoff's current law, the total current approaching the junction is always equal to the total current leaving the junction. This law obeys the law of conservation of charge. What it means? At junction point, none of charge is created, none of charge is destroyed. That means according to the law of conservation of electric charge, we can say that none of extra charge is created, none of any charge is destroyed. Total charge, they transfer from one branch to the another branch. That means at any junction point, total current, the algebraic sum of total current at any junction point in closed electric circuit is always equal to 0. This is total about the Kirchhoff's current law. Now second, Kirchhoff's second law. This law is also known as voltage law. This law is also known as loop law or mesh law. Now according to Kirchhoff's second law. Welcome student. Today we are going to start our new chapter of 12th science, current, electricity. Before going to start this chapter, we should know some basic terms related to this chapter. Which are these terms? We will see one by one. First one, point charge. Second one, electric field. Third one, electric intensity. Fourth one, electric potential. Now first we will see what is my point charge. Now a charge having unit magnitude and unit direction, that charge is known as point charge. Already we have seen all these things in 11th standard. Then second one, electric field means what? Suppose here we have taken one charge. Now this one is the unit positive charge. Now one specific field around this charge in which another identical take charge experiences a force of repulsion or force of attraction. What it means? If we try to bring negative charge within this field, then this negative charge, it will experiences a force of attraction, and if we try to bring positive charge within this field, then that positive charge will experiences a force of repulsion. That means a specific field around a point charge in which another identical take charge experiences a force of repulsion is known as electric field. Then third one, electric intensity. Now for that we should know that electric field can be expressed into two forms. One is known as vector form and second one is known as scalar form. Now what it means, when we are expressing electric field in vector form, that means we are talking about the electric intensity. Now what is by electric intensity? First of all, it is a vector quantity. It is always represented by vector E. Now electric intensity, it is defined as the electric force per unit charge in an electric field. What I am telling? Electric force per unit charge in an electric field is known as electric intensity. It is a vector quantity. Then electric potential. What is by electric potential? Now unit for electric potential is Ohm. Now how we can define electric potential? In 11th standard we learn about this. That means electric potential, it is defined as the amount of work required to bring unit positive charge from infinity to a given point in an electric field against the direction of electrical intensity. Once again listen carefully. Electric potential, it is defined as the amount of work required to bring unit positive charge from infinity to a given point in an electric field against the direction of electric intensity is known as electric potential at that point. These are the some basic terms. Now one more things we should know, that is, one thing is electric resistance and second one is electric current. We'll see. Now first terms are electric current. Electric resistance. Now what is meant by electric current? By the definition of electric current, we can say that electric current is nothing but the rate of flow of electric charge through the conductor. That is known as electric current. Now electric current, we can say that I is equal to Q divided by T. That means SI unit for electric current is ampere. And therefore we can say that the rate of flow of electric current flowing through the conductor is known as electric current. Now another units, milliampere, microampere, all these things. Now electric resistance means what? Now electric resistance, it is the property of the material. Because of that property, that material opposes the flow of electric current. The material which shows such type of property, that material is known as a resistor. What I am telling, resistance, it is the property of the material. Because of that property, that material opposes the flow of electric current, and the material which shows such type of property, that means opposition to the electric current, that is known as resistor. Now resistance, it is represented by letter capital R. SI unit of resistance is ohm. In symbolic form we can write all these things. Now this is about some basic terms related to this chart. Now one more thing, how we can say that electric current is flowing through the conductor. Basically we know that every substance is made up of atoms. Now in an atom, at the center nucleus is there. In nucleus, nucleons, that means protons and neutrons are there. Protons are positively charged particles and neutrons are chargeless particles. Around the nucleus, negatively charged particles are revolving continuously. These negatively charged particles are known as electrons. And the number of free electrons which are present in the outermost orbit of an atom, these electrons are known as free electrons. These electrons are also known as valence electrons. And depending upon the number of free electrons which are present in the outermost orbit of an atom in the substance, we can say that that is the base of the electric conductivity property of that substance. Now, if only we have taken one copper rod, and if we doesn't apply any potential difference, now up to this it is clear that electric current, when electric current can pass through the conductor, when we apply the potential difference across the conductor, then the number of free electrons which are present in that conductor, they comes in a single direction, they will flow in the single direction, then we can say that electric current flows through the conductor. That means from that we can say that we can pass electric current through the conductor only when we can apply the potential difference across the conductor. These are the some basic terms. These terms should be known to us when we are going to learn about this chapter. Pause.